music.
Friday night, I went out with some friends in what 2020's Time Out New York called the coolest neighborhood in New York City. Their words, not mine. I just live here, baby. I did not picture myself getting into an imaginary war with someone who didn't know I was at an imaginary war with them, but here we are. Our group goal was simple. Puff, puff, pass, raise a glass, have some laughs. We were practically a fucking Pink song. So we go to this bar that's frankly always a vibe. It's always the right amount of crowded. The drinks are absolutely grammable. The bartender is hot as shit, always has a dirty rag hanging out the left side. Yeah, that's the Crip side, but he was wearing red. And the crowd is always good. And the crowd always decides the music from this Jukebox app. This is not unfamiliar to you, right? You're young and fun and you know about a digital jukebox in your phone or on an app. You pay $1 and you get 2 credits, and those credits get you 1 song. Pretty simple, right? Anyone who knows me knows that I love to curate a playlist. No complaints when Lil Rocky's on the aux cord. So I noticed something. I noticed that the music vibes are off. No one's swaying, no one's bobbing, no one's tapping a foot. And you are doomed if the music vibes are off. It was starting to sound like muffled Evanescence. Not even regular Evanescence. Muffled knockoff Evanescence. And there's nothing wrong with Evanescence under a different bar's roof. Let's put it this way. No one was waking up inside. We were all falling asleep. Maybe you're saying, Rocky, you don't get to decide who plays what, when, and where, at which bar, especially a bar that encourages people with a smartphone to pick the music so they can curate their own vibe. But that's where you're wrong, because this is Lord of the Flies, baby, and I'm Piggy. I deposit 5 precious George boys into the Jukebox app, and I try to take control of this sinking ship. My song choices go on the queue, and there is always a method to my madness when it comes to a playlist. I am 8 levels ahead of you on a playlist. Mario, when he's big Mario on the playlist. You feel me? So I'm gonna let the other patrons have their moment. And my 5 songs are next on the queue. Boom! We are struck with an obstacle. My song doesn't come on next, and another muffled scream ballad hits the airwaves. Naturally, this is a thing now. And I go check the queue, and 1 song has cut me. How is this possible, you ask? Because when you choose your song, you have the option to pay 2 credits, or you can pay 3 to skip the line. Now, I didn't know we were paying 3 to skip the line. I should have, because isn't that just the American way? Pay your way to the front of the line. I let it slide because what the fuck else was I gonna do? But also, it's just 1 song, no biggie, all smalls, plus I'm next. But I wasn't. Another song has skipped my songs again. And they were, you guessed it, no good. Muffled screams and yells, and worst of all, no bass. Much like MT, I too am all about that bass. This app won't let you go back and buy more credits to add to your old credits. And am I really gonna put $5 more to skip these people? No. I wasn't. I was just bummed because how could a bar in a neighborhood named Time Out New York's #1 coolest neighborhood in 2020 disrespect fun like this? Finally, my songs played, but by the time the shells of bribery pinned me against my comrades, we were all putting on our coats. What did I learn from this musical fiasco? I learned that $5 wasted, that's a really good problem to have in a neighborhood that Time Out New York called the coolest neighborhood to be in 2020.
It's time for
Duh. Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, hello. Did you have a good week? I sure hope so. I hope that you got money. I hope that you know it. I hope that you take it out of your pocket, then show it, then throw it this way and that way, this way and that way. The Carter 3, Song 1, Verse 1. My week was really great. Thank you for tuning in. I do have some rather bad news. The Irish language is endangered. That's right. You may not even have known that there was an Irish language, and that makes perfect sense because, I repeat, it is endangered. I feel scared and sad that the language of my ancestors is now too old for the club. Reverse fake ID on the Irish language. The weight of the world is on my shoulders, you guys. But I believe in delegation. That's right. You don't have to download a language learning app like me. You could. But all you really have to do is repeat after me. Ishka. Ishka. I bet you're just dying to know what that means, you little horn dogs. Ishka. Ishka means water in Irish. And impossible to forget because when you're swallowing water, it already kind of sounds like that. Ishka, ishka, ishka. If anything else sounds like that when you're swallowing, then top of the morning to you, lads and lassies. Ishka means water. Chris Rock came out with a new special that Netflix released in real time. That's right, it was live. That's a good thing. We never get to see a live comedy special anymore. Live comedy specials feel like another level of bringing people together. They do it for boxing matches. They do it for UFC, sports, award shows. Why not comedy specials? I am in favor of a live comedy special. Selective Outrage, that's the name of it. This special has got people absolutely talking. And if you want to skip ahead about 2 minutes, I'm going to talk about a little spoiler from the special. Anything is fair game after one day of being released, but I am just trying to be courteous. So spoiler alert, now that I have you alone. I just wanted to say that Chris Rock is so engaging as a comedian that I watched this whole special and I completely forgot all about the slap. I wasn't even thinking about him addressing the slap. I forgot this man was slapped. The one thing you think you'd be dying to hear him talk about, I forgot happened. Love him or hate him, he takes the audience on a ride. If the special ended right before he started talking about the slap, I would have been satisfied. It fell boop right out of my head. Then he addressed it. He called Will Smith a bitch a lot. And he gave a behind-the-scenes backstory of something that happened between him and Jada beforehand. He says all the reasons why Jada was mad at him, about how he didn't start it, and he very clearly expressed how he was feeling. And of course, we wouldn't be us, the internet generation, if people weren't completely divided on how they felt about it. Because Chris Rock was the only person who was assaulted without any help from the people in charge of the Oscars. In fact, they gave the man who assaulted him an Oscar just moments after the assault happened on national TV. I don't know. Maybe we let Chris Rock say whatever the fuck he wants about Will Smith. But I don't know, do your own research. And watch Chris Rock's special. Speaking of doing your own research, I did some internal research at the Grateful Shred concert this weekend. Shout out to Kara and shout out to you, D. Thank you for getting me into Grateful Dead cover bands. It's so much fun. I know you're wondering, Rocky, did you travel the cosmos via Mushroom Alley? And of course I did. You gotta be careful tripping in a place that has tree bark for walls because you take one seat next to a wall and the next second you got a friend for life. You understand what I'm trying to say? Every time I go to the cosmos, I try to heal a little part of me and see what lessons I can return back with. So what did I learn? A lesson that often comes to me when I travel the cosmos via Mushroom Alley. And that lesson is to remember to love your people. I texted my grandmother at 1 a.m. that night. I don't give a fuck. Yo, I love you, and I will keep the Irish language alive with the weight of the world on my back. Now drink some nighttime ishka, my bishka. My cab ride home got real bone collector real quick. And it's a pretty regular route home from point A to point B. You just hop on the highway. And all of a sudden, we're in this real industrial area, not on the highway. And the song, Oh, You Thought I Was Feeling You, was playing on a loop for the third time in a row. You know how sometimes DJs will put a good song on repeat over and over again? That is what happened. And I'm driving through what I imagine an episode of SVU looks like. I don't know. I don't watch. Too scary. And I'm debating if I say anything to the driver because it was in fact following the map on the app, but it was also in fact a place in town I had never seen before, and I did not want it to be the last place I ever saw again. Finally, I blurt out, was there an accident on the highway or something? Yeah, lots of traffic. Okay. Bro, next time let's just eat the 10 minutes, okay? So I don't feel like I'm gonna end up swimming with the fishes or taking a nap in the back of your trunk, okay? I didn't say that because I didn't want to be swimming with the fishes or taking a nap in the back of the trunk. I did love that he blasted his music, though. That was kind of fun. That brings us to Rocky's highest thoughts, my most stoned thoughts of the week. Number 1, have you ever been at the self-checkout and a song you don't feel like listening to comes on while you're checking out, and then there's a line and you have to make the split-second decision of finding a song you want to listen to while you're ringing up your groceries for negative pro bono and simultaneously holding up the line further, or listening to the bad song while you ring up your groceries for negative pro bono? Oh, that's never happened to you? I didn't realize everyone had personal shoppers. Number 2, there was a buzz about Zendaya negotiating her contract to $1 million an episode on Euphoria. The internet didn't like that. Meanwhile, that's what every cast member on Friends made over 20 years ago per episode, not just Matthew Perry. Number 3, if someone offers you a bite of their pizza and you fold bite, then you're trash, bro. Literal, bro. Number 4, you can't go wrong with saying the phrase roll the dice, because if someone tries to correct you, you just tell them you're only rolling one. My guest this week is comedian Mo Hill. Mo's wild word was white people. White people are wild, aren't they? In more ways than one. And this story was no exception. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me at Wild Nights with Rocky on TikTok and Instagram, at Wild Nights Pod on Twitter. If you want to watch extended interviews with all of my guests, please subscribe on YouTube. You can support the show for $2 or $5 a month by subscribing to my Patreon. A big thank you and a future thank you to everyone who's written and everyone who will write a review when this episode is over. It really does make a difference. And now, please enjoy my Wild Nights conversation with Mo Hill. Mo, welcome. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Rocky, what's up? How's it going?
Everything is going great. I'm so excited to have you on. I have you all over my Instagram feed, and now I have you front and center in front of me.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
I know this is we're starting the week off right. You know what I mean? Like It is for anyone listening. This is a Monday morning. We are doing our thing on a Monday, making stuff happen, and a lot of people have off today because it's actually, we're recording on President's Day, which is just a random holiday to honor, I don't know, old white people.
Basically, that's literally all it is. These dudes don't even know they have a day now.
They don't know they don't know they have a day. They're long gone, but they are still old white men, old white people. So Mo's wild word was white people. So Mo, I want to jump right into it. Give us your wild night story, white people.
My wild night story. So I'm from Ohio originally, and I went to college at Wright State University, and a bunch of my friends from high school went to a college called Miami of Ohio. Some people may be familiar with Miami, Ohio.
Yes, I actually do know it. Yeah.
You know about Miami? Okay,
yeah,
so it's in Oxford. Nice. Yeah, so it's in Oxford, and back at that time, it's my understanding now they don't do it anymore, but back at that time they had something called OXFEST. And so if you don't know what OXFEST is, it's literally a bunch of college students getting bused to a field and you just drink all day. There's like a concert going on of like a bunch of artists and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's usually pretty lit. So this particular OXFEST, my buddy who I was going to visit, he's in a frat. And he's in a white frat. So he was like, I was the only black dude at this particular frat house for this day. And another one of my buddies from high school, he came down to visit with me. So he met me from Cleveland. We came to visit my buddy Trent, who was going to OXFEST at the time. And so we get on this bus.
Was your friend that came to visit? Was he white too, or no?
Yeah, he was white too.
Oh, okay.
Everyone. This is why it's white people. Everyone was predominantly white. I was probably one of maybe the only black dude at this particular fest. It might have been more black people. I didn't see him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. There was no nod. There was no nod. It was
no, it was nothing.
Yeah, you were solo.
Yeah, I was nervous for a lot of this. So so anyway,
the only black man in a field full of white people at something called OXFEST in the middle of Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, I was almost a slave again. It was crazy.
Yeah,
I don't
know. It sounds like a Jordan Peele movie.
It felt weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might steal the rights to this. I don't know. So anyway, we all get on this. It's they have like buses. They have a bunch of buses.
Yeah.
And it's like me, my boy from high school, and our friend that we went to high school with, his frat. So it's the three of us and all his boys from his frat. So we get on these buses. They bus, it's hundreds of kids. Like they bus all these kids to this field. And while we're there, it starts pouring rain. So we're there, we're all drinking. We're all trash. We were drinking when we first woke up before we even got on the bus. We were drinking on the bus.
Yeah.
And then if you ever been to Oxford, literally Miami of Ohio is in the middle of nowhere. It's like Miami of Ohio, it's a college town. But once you leave Miami of Ohio, like you don't know, it's hills have eyes. Like you don't know.
Yeah.
So we get to this field, we're drinking. It starts pouring rain, like pouring. And they basically cancel the fest, but there's no buses to take us back.
Oh.
So you got thousands of college kids now stranded at this field in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So somehow me, it's my buddy from high school who goes to Miami, and then my boy Jack who came down from Miami.
Yeah.
We get separated somehow. I don't know how we get separated. I lose them, they lose me. All three of us, no one to be found. Now at this time, I had like this slider AT&T phone. I had one notch left, but there's no service. So my phone's about to die. I have no service. No one's answering their phone. It's pouring rain. I don't know where the fuck I'm at. I don't know where I'm at.
Yeah, this is a nightmare. Yeah.
I don't know anything. So, I don't know where anybody's at. So I walk to like, there was like these bathrooms maybe about like 50 yards away from the venue thing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I go to the venue, I go walk towards the bathroom, and I see a tarp and some white people in the tarp. There's no, So I go on the tarp and I'm like, hey guys, I need to like, do you mind if I just stay under here just to like hide from the rain? Cause it's pouring. There's like nowhere to hide in this field. It's just an open field. So they're like, yeah, it's cool. So I'm sitting on this log and I'm looking at everybody under this tent. It's probably like 5 or 6 people. And something in my spirit said, you should leave.
Your gut was telling you.
Yeah, but I was like, nah, it's raining outside. It's kind of raining hard. I don't want to go out there.
Yeah, the vibes weren't right.
Nah. And then so like I'm looking at these people like, man, something's off. So I'm looking at this girl. She's just like sitting there in her own world. And I'm like, are y'all good? And the dude was like, nah, we're tripping on acid right now. And I was like, what? I was like, what? Like, are you? I was like, I thought he was joking. He was like, nah, we're really tripping on acid. And I was like, all right. He was like, but we're waiting on my buddy. He has a car. He went to the campus to drop off some people. He's coming back. And I was like, do you guys care if I get a ride back to campus?
Okay.
And he's like, yeah. So I'm sitting there, and this girl, she's like, I'm sitting on this log, and this girl is laying next to me. Like, not laying like next to me, but like laying like maybe like 3 or 4 feet away from me.
Yeah.
She randomly gets up and she goes, like, what are you doing? And I was like, I didn't know she was talking to me. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, did you just try to touch me? And I was like, what? I was like, I was so confused. I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, yeah, I totally just saw what you did. And I panicked. I got up. I got up and I walked out, and I'm like, I'm trying to get the fuck out of here, but I have no idea where I'm at. So I run out, and then I look across the field and I see my boy Jack.
Thank God.
And I was like, and this was like, you ever see like those movies where like 2 people just be running through the dandelions?
Yes.
It was like slow motion. I've never been so happy to see somebody in my life. So we're like running towards each other, like so happy that we found each other, and like we just had like this random bro moment in the middle of
Yeah.
this fucking field. It's
Yeah.
pouring rain. I'm sure everybody thought we were gay. It's fine,
That's
but we were
okay.
happy.
Yeah.
I was like, you're the best white person I could see right now. Like I
Yeah.
can't.
Well, you have to be
So
careful because this was probably like what, 10 years ago, 12 years ago,
yeah, this was
something
like
like
10
that.
or 12 years ago. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
like 2010, 2011.
to be an interracial gay couple in the middle of a field in Ohio, that's probably not a good look for you two.
Nah, it wasn't, especially not in this conservative ass town. Like it was
Yeah, hell
crazy.
no.
So we find each other, and I'm like, we're like, what happened? He's like, I don't know. So he
Yeah,
got lost from them too, and I didn't know. I thought he was with them the whole time. He's like, no, I
right,
got lost. They went to some party. I didn't get in the car. I turned around, they were gone. I was like,
right.
all right, cool. He's like, dude, so he goes, this guy I saw. I was like, well, we might have a ride back to campus. He was like, oh,
Okay.
cool, let's go over there. I was like, they're tripping on acid though. He was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's our only way back though. So stupid ass me, we go back over to this tent,
Ooh,
and this girl, she's still sitting there, but she's sitting there like nothing happened. Like nothing
yeah,
happened. So long story short, this car comes back to pick us up, and it's packed. Like they had to pack all their shit in there. There's
hmm,
probably like 10 of us in this. I don't even know what it was. It felt like a fucking Toyota Camry or something like that.
right.
And the whole time, like everyone's tripping. It's weird. Me
Yeah,
and Jack are like, all right, how are we gonna like we're literally plotting our escape because like we're like, bro, they're about to kill us.
yeah, yeah,
They're gonna kill us. So we're driving back to campus, and as we're driving, the driver is this dude who has like 7,000 hickeys on his neck.
right.
The girl up front, I think it's his girlfriend. She also like, I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, why is
Yeah,
there so many hickeys on your neck? Like,
yeah.
it was just a lot.
Some people have sensitive necks, Mo. Okay, some
Yeah, but like we left hickeys in like 2002. Like we got to stop with the hickey thing. Like they were fucking adults. But here's what made it weird. Every stop sign or like whenever they would stop, they would just have this hardcore makeouts.
Okay, so they couldn't
They
keep
would
their
have
hands off
like
each other
a
yet.
hardcore makeout session with each other. And me and Jack are sitting in the back, like, what the fuck did we
Yeah.
get ourselves into? Like, why is this happening
And
right
it's still
now?
raining too, right?
Oh, it's pouring. By
Yeah.
this time, it's dark though. Like you can't
Yeah.
see anything. It's dark outside. So we got this random couple making out every 5, 10
Yeah.
seconds. Everyone's like drugged out.
Yeah.
Um, so we're telling them like, hey, we don't know where our friend's frat house is because we don't know our way around Miami. So we're like, we don't
Yeah.
know where to go. We don't know where we're at. We're like, we'll just drive around until we see it. So we get to Miami, but he's like, yeah, we got to make a stop real quick. And me and Jack are like, oh, here it is.
Yep.
This is where we die, man. And I'm like
Yeah.
telling Jack, like, I'm giving my condolences. I'm like, man, you
Yeah.
were a good dude in high school. Just like, no, if I see you in heaven, we can ask God what the fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But bro,
Yeah.
it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
get to this house. Everyone goes in. They're like dropping stuff off. And the dude was like, yeah, you guys could just hang out down here. And it was a basement. And we're like, oh,
Mo.
man. So we go
Come
down in
on,
this basement.
Mo.
This basement looked like a scene from, what's that movie called? Fuck, it was like the torn plastic. It was a cement
What
Hostel.
movie?
That movie Hostel. You ever seen that?
Oh.
You know, when you walk down, they got like the torn plastic. It's like cement basement. It was just eerie. It was like
Yeah.
random rooms. And me and Jack were like, we were like, bro, we have to, like, we gotta run.
We
Like,
gotta
we
go.
go
Yeah.
upstairs, just run as fast as you can. I was like, I don't care where you run, just don't follow me. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, don't go where I go.
Oh, you wanted to split up.
Yeah, man, he's gonna slow
Okay.
me down. This white dude was unathletic. He was slow. I was like, don't, you might trip me, and then I gotta kill you myself. Like,
I said goodbye in the car, Jack. I said goodbye in
Yeah,
the car.
don't fucking follow me, Jack.
Yeah.
Like Jack, he was like this shorter, like stubby dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jack, don't fucking follow me, bro. So I'm like, we just gotta run, man. We gotta run.
Yeah.
It's eerie. So as we're like walking up the stairs, the dude like comes to the top. He's like, you guys ready to go? I was like, yeah. And then he's like, all right, cool. So we get in the car and like we're driving around, and we see my buddy and like everyone's like outside of the fire. I was like, oh, that's it. That's that's the house.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we get out of the car. Like we ran out of the fucking car and we just like everybody was like hugging and like you're alive. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
and
We
so
found each other. Yeah.
we found each other. I've never been so happy to see other white people in my life. Like it was crazy. Like it was like
The good whites.
yeah, I was like, these are the good whites, you guys. Fucking, it was almost the end for me. So we all met up, and then everyone was given a recount of like how we all like what happened. So
Yeah.
I ended up with the people tripping on acid underneath this tent.
Yeah.
Jack somehow got split up from Trent's. Trent's story was the funniest. Like he said, like, yeah, we went to this party. We didn't like the party, but then we walked into this bar where we weren't welcome.
Yeah.
Trent's white.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well,
I think God saved me
yeah.
because he was like, yeah, we walked in this bar and the bartender literally was looking at us like, what are you guys? It was like a towny Oxford bar. And he was
Yes.
like, the bartender was like, what are you guys doing here? Like what? And he was like, what? We just want to drink.
Yeah.
He was like, the bartender like basically like didn't want to serve us. And I was like, imagine what the fuck would have happened if I was there. Like we
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
have
Thank
tasted out of
God.
there. or
Thank
whatever would
God you
have
weren't there. Thank God you weren't there.
Yeah, and then he's like, some guy just happened to be driving past or something, and they couldn't like fit in the car. They had to walk for some miles. He's like, we didn't know where we were walking. We ended up in Indiana.
Yeah.
Because if you know about that area, it's like bordering Indiana.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, we walked to Indiana, and then I don't know. Everyone had this crazy account and ended up back there.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty wild day. And then trying to think. There's another story. I don't know if it was the same
No.
night or not, or the same weekend, maybe. I can't remember.
That's
But
okay.
that same guy, we were at this bar, and we were all hanging out at this bar, and my boy Trent comes up to me and my buddy. He's like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to go home." He was with this girl,
Yeah.
and they were both trashed. They
Yeah,
were
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
trashed. They were 100% trashed.
Done
And
for, yeah.
so the girl, I thought. I was looking at Trent. The girl, she had her eyes. One eye was way lower than the other, and I was looking at Trent. I'm like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Like I was like, "Dude, are you sure you want to go with this girl? Like like she doesn't look there.
Yeah,
Like her
yeah.
eyes are kind of off." He's like,
Yeah.
"Nah, man, she just has a lazy eye." And I was like,
Yeah. You're like, well, that eye looks unemployed.
yeah, that eye is out of commission, guy.
Yeah,
Like, what are you
yeah,
doing? I don't know if this is good for you. He's like, nah, it's good, dude. I promise it's good. Whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. So, but me and my buddy were staying at his dorm at the time.
Got it.
So they leave, and we go back to his dorm, and we're calling him, let us in. And so we get in there. The girls like sleep on the bed. Me and my buddy, we make like a little pallet on the floor.
Yeah.
And we're like talking to Trent about the night. We're sitting there. And all of a sudden we hear like this noise. Like it's like a hissing noise, like a
Oh no.
and I was like, Trent, like you guys got like open pipes in your building? Like, dude, this is like a newer school. You guys got all this money and you can't fucking not hear people, doing the most upstairs.
Yeah.
And Trent's like, he's like, what are you talking about? And I looked at my buddy. I was like, dude, you don't hear this noise. Like, do you hear this? And we were listening. He's like, what the fuck is that? I was like, you've been in this dorm all year and you never heard this sound. He's like, nah, man, what are you talking about? So he starts looking around, he turns around, and he's like, she's pissing in my bed. She's peeing in my bed, like right now. And he's like trying to wake her up. She's literally peeing. She's like full-fledged pissing in the bed.
She broke the seal finally.
Broke the seal. Trent's panicking, but he's trying not to wake her up.
Yeah.
Like he's panicking under his breath, like, oh my God, she's pissing in my bed. I'm like, just yell, bro. Like, why are you trying to be quiet? So he's like panicking and whispering. Me and my buddy are in tears. Like, I can't breathe. I'm laughing so fucking hard because he's trying to panic under his breath.
Yeah.
We're listening to this girl piss. And he's like trying to wake her up. She's not waking up.
No, she's done.
And it like starts to obviously smell like pee. And she went.
Yeah.
I think whatever was going on the last 2 hours, it all came out at that moment. Like
The
she
floodgates
flushed.
were open. Yeah.
Oh man, it was Katrina, like all
Oh
in his
my
bed.
God.
Like it was it was
A
crazy.
natural disaster for
It was
sure.
literally a disaster. It was all over the place. And so he's like panicking and just like it's hard to explain because if like you like my friend is like he's just one of those dudes that like he just his mannerisms is funny already. So
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
see him panicking and like angry at the same like what the fuck? It was just hilarious.
In
So we
such
all
a
lay
small
down.
setting too.
Yeah, we just couldn't. Yeah, we're like in this dorm. It was like
Yeah.
this big. So we were like right next to the bed. And so like this was going on and he's like panicking. He's like, I don't know what to do. We probably laughed for a good hour over this.
Yeah, yeah.
So we go to sleep. We wake up. She's gone.
Yeah.
Sheets are gone. She's gone. We're like, what the fuck? Like, what did she like? We didn't hear her get up. Nothing.
Yeah.
So we're laughing about the next day. So I text Trent like the next week. I'm like, yo, have you seen that girl? He's like, I saw her around campus, but I like didn't say anything to her. And he's like, yeah, like the next day, she just like set my sheets and stuff in front of my door. She like washed them or whatever and put them in front of my door. He's like, I haven't talked to her since. But that was probably one of the funniest fucking nights of my life just because I've never witnessed somebody pissing in a bed, but the panic on his face.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen. It was hilarious.
And also because you don't, it's like someone's peeing in the bed, but it's not really your problem. It's not like you had this girl over and she pissed in your bed. It's like you're watching your friend have to deal with it. So it's almost like a little bit funnier. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually somebody pissing in the bed is like a phantom thing. Like when you hear someone you never, you know what I mean? It just like happens.
You
and
know
then
it happens, but you don't,
You don't witness it happening. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Oh
It's
my
always
God.
this thing that's just like a figment of your imagination. Oh, I pissed in it. Even when you do it yourself, it's not like you really know what the fuck's going on.
Well,
you know?
And also there's usually not, if somebody pisses the bed, there's usually not 3 other people in the room with them. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Like there's no one to hear it, witness it.
So you guys also have this shared experience with him. That sounds like just a weekend of pure college joy because you survived. Because it was definitely some like some tricky situations. I do want to go back a little bit to the bar. Your friend going to the bar, because I was just having this conversation with somebody. They had seen a documentary that was basically like a white supremacist bar, but it was being celebrated at this film festival. And he was telling me all about it. And it was like, oh yeah, like this is our bar. And then I guess everybody that watched it afterwards, that was with the person I talked to it about, they were like, was that just like a bar celebrating? Like it was basically like a white supremacy bar, and they did a documentary on it, and we're all supposed to be like,
right? What are you supposed to do?
What the fuck? And I
just gave
him
an advertisement.
Yes, because these bars exist in plain sight.
Yeah.
They exist in plain
do.
sight. It'll always have a support our troops flag, usually, or like some kind of banner like that.
Oh, yeah.
And the windows, there won't be windows to see in. So it'll be kind of those like paneled windows. So nobody's like, what's going on in that bar? If you see a bar like that, don't maybe it's not the bar for you. Everybody.
Yeah.
I'm talking to everybody. Like, let's not go inside.
Yeah, I have a rule of it. I got like a 2 American flag limit. If I see anything over 2 American flags, I know I'm not to take my ass over there. Like that's too many flags.
I really like that rule too, because you know what? I really like that rule because you're rooting for like bar owners and stuff. You're like, okay, they opened a bar. America is our country. We do live here. So you can't
It is.
Before like the pandemic, it was like an American flag. We used to wear it on Old Navy clothes. Like it wasn't as like icky as it is now. So you could say like people put their American flag up and it's not this big like shameful thing. And now when you see, I would 100% agree. 1 is dicey. 2 is we gotta take a left.
Yeah, 3, you might not make it out of there. Like, that's
Three,
too many
yeah.
American flags in there,
Three, we
man.
gotta call an Uber ASAP. Yeah. Oh man, that's a great
Exactly.
rule.
Yeah.
That's a great rule. I also am gonna stick to that rule too because it's like you can kind of feel it. You can kind of feel
Yeah.
the difference. It's like,
Especially in a place like that, you know, in a
yeah,
place like that in Oxford, like once you, because Oxford is a very like it's a wealthy school. Like as far as
yeah,
like the kids that go there are usually like most of their parents. Like if you drive down the street in Oxford, like it's newer cars. Like all their
yeah,
everybody's parent for the most part, a lot of people's parents have money that go to Oxford, right?
yeah,
As soon as you leave, it's like dramatic decrease, and it's like poor trailer farm,
yeah.
middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? So
I
it's like
do.
and they were like in Indiana. It's like the border of Indiana and Oxford, Ohio. It's rural. So
Yeah.
it had to be one of those like local towny bars that like because I'm like if you guys weren't welcome, dude,
Yeah.
man, we would
They
have
would
been
have been
running for
like
our
clapping
lives.
and smiling when you walked
Oh
in.
yeah, they would have been like, "Yep, lock the doors."
Yeah.
Yeah, it
We've
would have
been
been
waiting
weird.
for this moment, brother. Yeah.
Couldn't fucking wait, but I mean, I doubt they would have caught me, but yeah, it was weird. It was a but the people tripping on acid, that's the part that like scared me the most. Because at
Yeah.
that before that point, I never been around anyone on acid before. And to like
Yeah.
see them like tripping and like just being weird and awkward
Yeah.
and like homegirl was just like somewhere else. Like it
Yeah,
was
for
like
sure. Oh yeah, it's another plane. Yeah.
I've never
I've
seen
never
this
done it.
before.
I've never done acid, but I've been with people who were doing acid while I was on mushrooms and like even trying to be like, "Hey, let's talk." It's like we're in two different worlds.
Nah, yeah, we can't. Metaverse is blocking us right now. I can't
Yeah,
see you,
you
even though
guys are on
you're in
another
arm's
plane.
length.
I respect your towny bar. You got to respect mine. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
we are on two different realms. So you are from Ohio. Is that where you started doing improv or did you do improv after college?
No, no. So I actually went to Wright State
Oh
University
yeah, yes, yeah.
in Ohio. I started improv comedy while I was in college.
Yeah.
So there was a theater at the time that just started. This was probably 2010, 2011, maybe.
Uh-huh.
And it was a new theater. It's called Black Box Theater.
Uh-huh.
So I started at, but I was like in one of the first couple classes to come out of that theater. It's a
Uh-huh.
prominent theater in Dayton now. It's been around for like the
Okay.
last 12 years, and it's one of the main theaters in the city now. So that's where I started my comedy career is
Uh-huh.
at Black Box Theater in Dayton, Ohio.
That's so exciting. And now so do you still do improv?
Not as much. I transitioned to stand up
Yeah.
about 4.5, 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I kind of had to. I was doing it still at the same time as a part of a troupe. We had weekends, but then as stand up started to pick up and I started to
Yeah.
travel to New York more often, I couldn't do it at the same time. I wish I could though, because it keeps
Yeah.
a certain skill set for me going.
Exactly.
But I don't do it as much. I don't do it
Right.
as much anymore.
But stand up is obviously fulfilling something in you that you're like improv isn't giving me that same because you lean more towards it, right? Or is it just a time
Yeah.
thing?
No, no, no. So stand up is like, I gave this comparison when my friend was kind of asking me what the difference is. It's like when I first started doing improv, I loved it. I loved it. But it felt the feeling of it was more of I wasn't as passionate about it. It was kind of like it's kind of like that girl that's like she's a great girl for you. She'll be an awesome girlfriend, but it's just like something missing where you can't commit or you
Right.
can't. It's like you don't know what it is. Like you like her a lot whenever you're around her. Your life is great.
Yeah.
Like everything's on track, but it's just like it comes in doses though. And then I did stand up for the first time. I was scared of stand up for a long
Of
time, actually. I
course. Of
was very
course.
taboo to me. People be like, what do you do? I do improv. Oh, is that like stand up? I'm like, hell
No.
no, I don't do no stand up.
Yeah.
But then I did stand up and I was like, this is my wife. This is
Yeah.
what I love. This is my passion. This is where I'm supposed to be. And I didn't get on stage my first time and just like murder anything. It was literally like I got off stage and I was like, I could not wait to go back up. Like it was like
Yeah.
that. I got the bug. I got the
The
bug.
adrenaline.
And I was
Yeah.
like, this is what I've been missing. And I wanted to do this. And so that's what kind of drove me. My passion is different and I love it. Like it's like something that I genuinely love.
That's amazing. And also, what's great about you is you've had quite a few viral videos go up too, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, well, right before the pandemic, was it the pandemic? No, towards the end, I think I want to say we were in 2023, end of 2020. Yeah, towards the end of 2020, I started, we couldn't do anything. Everything was still
Yeah.
closed. There was no open. And I'm living in Ohio. So
Yeah.
like there was no park shows for us. We didn't have like a community that was doing too much. Everything was still kind of,
You had to
as
be
far as the open
solo.
mics, yeah, it was nothing. There's no way to get your comedic energy out. So I started making videos. I had originally made like 2 videos back in like 2012, 2011. I just didn't keep going. So I was like, let
Yeah.
me try this again. So I made a few videos, and then I want to say like February, I got this idea. Long story short, I was watching Richard Pryor. If anybody knows, Richard Pryor is probably
Yeah.
one of the biggest pioneers of personification comedy.
Yeah.
Which is basically taking inept objects and bringing them to life, giving them a personality. Your hand
Yeah.
having a personality, or pencil, whatever. So I was kind of going through some stuff with the girl that I was dating at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I had just watched, I know his stand-up by heart, and I had
Right.
watched it the night before, and I was like, well, let me personify how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
And I made that video. It went viral. And I was like, okay, I'll do another one. I did another one. That one went viral. And so the first 3 went viral, and then I just kept going with it. And I've just been
Yeah.
going with it from there.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, they're very funny. They're very funny. Well, that's
Thank
awesome,
you.
Mo. Now, how often would you say you get out to New York to do comedy?
Now I come there every month. I
Oh,
come there
wow.
every month. I'll probably stay there for like a week, week and a half sometimes. I kind of book myself out for a bunch of shows. I'll stay there for a week, and then I'll come back to Ohio, do my shows in other
Yeah.
areas or throughout the states, in other places. Then I go back. So that's kind of been my cadence now for the last. It's been a year and a half, man. It's been a year and a half.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a journey. When I first started coming to New York, I would only come doing bringer shows,
Yeah.
5-minute sets for like 2 days. I did that for months. And then, I slowly worked my way up to being able to do, I started doing like 2 or 3 shows, and then I got 5 shows. And then
Yeah.
in July, I had like 15 shows one week. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, it's been a journey just kind of working my way through the ranks. Cause I don't live in New York, but to
Of
come
course.
there as much as I do and to get shows, like I have to hustle everything that I get in New York. So it's very rewarding. It's very like, it's a grind for sure, because I don't live there, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's rewarding when you start to break through certain aspects of the scene and start feeling like you're a part of the scene and different things like that. So it's been
Yeah.
pretty dope to mingle and be able to, start to implement myself in the New York scene.
Yeah, and the more people see you, the more they know you too. They're like, "Oh, yeah, it's
Exactly.
not like
Yeah.
you're this, stranger from Ohio. You belong." Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
amazing, Mo. Now, if anybody wants to follow you, find you, catch you in Ohio, catch you in New York, where can they follow you, Mo?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Mo_funny with 3 Ys. You can find me on TikTok, Mo_funny with 3 Ys as well. I have all my shows on my link tree. I'm starting my tour, starting a tour. I'm on tour with Darren Fleet.
Okay.
That starts in 2 weeks. So go check that out. I could be coming to a city near you if you want to come to a show. I think that's all my handles. You guys want my LinkedIn? No, I'm just kidding.
Let's check his LinkedIn. Can't you
Check
tell
my
who
LinkedIn.
isn't that the thing with LinkedIn? You can tell who looked at your LinkedIn.
Yeah, you can. I
That's
don't even get all
so
these
funny.
random people.
Yeah, they're
Nah,
just like,
yeah.
"Whoa."
But yeah, that's what those are. Oh, and you can also my YouTube page, comedian Mo Hill. I post a lot of my content, some of my stand-up stuff there. I think that's it. Those are all my socials.
Well, Mo, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that story. That truly was wild. I'm glad everybody made it out unscathed. I'm glad you guys,
Yes.
nobody was hurt. And yeah, you didn't end up in the sequel of Get Out 2.
Right.
Um,
That was this close.
still can't believe you guys went in the basement. That's crazy. Like, just
I don't
let
know
them
what we're
sit in the
thinking.
living room. But you made it out. You live to tell the tale, and I'm so grateful for that. Mo, thank you so much for doing the podcast. This was a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much, Rocky. I appreciate it. Hopefully we cross paths next time I come to New York.
Yes, please let
Um,
me know. Yeah, let me know
Absolutely.
because I would love to see you live, and I'm sure I will soon. So thank you for
Absolutely.
doing the show, Mo. I really appreciate it, and you and I will talk soon. All right?
Thank you so much, Rocky. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too.